Alright guys, welcome back to Without a Voice. Let's go to load our last save point. Day 3, yep. I'll just reread this for the sake of you guys' memory. Without wisdom or experience, storms shall it wither be. But when you are nearby, dear one, no storm can bother me. Day 3. I'm dying. The exiled princess paused on the very first line of her letter. My dear Exalander. Is that too familiar? Will he dislike it? The brother of her memory was a kind boy, but rather stiff, and particularly mindful of decorum. Decorum? The fuck is that? Alright, anyways. Following the events of the previous evening, Cassadia felt compelled to rewrite her half-finished letter. Not that Alexander would care. I want Alexander to see me at my best. Not that Alexander will care either way. I'm sure he's too busy to even read my letters, though. Still, I want him to know how I spend my days. I feel less alone when I read his letters, and if mine can ease his spirits, then it's a worthwhile endeavor. Somehow, even after rewriting the letter, Cassadia was not confident about its contents. Is this interesting enough? She had not talked much of Elaine, not wanting to confuse her brother with tale of a woman he had never met. In fact, upon a quick reread, she realized she had not mentioned Elaine in her letter at all. It's better this way, I think. I really wanted to read that letter, not gonna lie. When Cassadia left, she realized the sun had started to set. Encoding, shut up! I'm reading. Oh dear. Was I revisiting for so long? Silly me. She folded up her letter and placed it in an envelope, sealing it with the royal wax seal she was given. She stood and stretched her arms above her head. I have hardly moved all day. That is no good. I really like the color of her eyes. Cassadia walked to the front of the cottage where she normally left her letters halfway beneath the door for an agent to collect. She had just stuffed her letter under the door when... Princess? Cassadia's blood ran cold for just a moment. Yet she soon realized who was addressing her and relaxed. You surprised me, Elowen! She spoke to the other women through the half-opened window at the front of the cottage. I am no princess, you know. Is that so? You seem like one to me. Cassadia was not sure how to respond to that statement. Have I casually let slip that I was a princess? I did not realize that I still behaved in the manner of one. Lifelong habits cannot so soon be discarded, it seems. There is an envelope under the door. Oh yes! Do leave it there. It's outgoing. Outgoing? Elowen paused for a long while, but said no more on the subject. May I come in? Oh, of course, I'm so sorry. I should have invited you sooner. I was so taken aback to see you. I did not mean to surprise you so. It's alright. It's alright. A happy surprise. I am so glad to see you. She opened the door and ushered Elowen inside. This time Cassadia did not forget her manners. She quickly flew into the kitchen to make her guest some tea and pulled out the crackers she set aside for just such an occasion. Elowen politely sipped the tea, but did not touch the crackers. I suppose she has already eaten? I wonder why she does not eat. She's a spirit of the tree, obviously. Yeah. There is a healthy glow to Elowen's face. I suppose she has already eaten. She strikes me as the type who would worry about her figure. And it is so late in the day already. Yes, I'm sure she has already supped and can eat no more. Is that a cat face? Is she doing the cat face? The classical cat face? Oh my gosh! I love this character more. Cassadia endeavors not to take offense, and instead greedily partook of the crackers herself. The two women talked pleasantries for some time, though it became rather apparent that Elowen's attention lay elsewhere. Is everything quite alright? Why do you ask? You seem somewhat reserved. That is more than usual. That letter. You said it was outgoing. Is that the letter you wrote to your brother? Oh yes. If I leave the letter there, if I leave the letters there, someone will come collect it. Someone? How can that be? You do not go into town to have your mail delivered? She was at a loss as to how to explain. Cassadia herself knew that her situation was extraordinary. You see, though I live alone, I am well taken care of. My brother provides everything. Every fortnight or so, his agents deliver food and supplies to me. Someone is around to collect my outgoing letters once or twice a day. I only ever send my brother letters, of course. I was not wrong when I said this place was like a jail. Why do you live here alone, when he clearly has enough resources to take care of you? Cassadia shifted uncomfortably in her seat. I like this sunny music right here. Oh yeah, hell yeah, man. Oh, it's great. Elowen's eyes seemed not to look at her so much as bore into her soul. She's a witch. Cassadia felt judged and deemed unworthy, though she had not yet responded to Elowen's inquiry. No matter how she phrased it in her head, it sounded awful. I am here for my own safety. She took a deep breath. When you called me princess earlier, you were not far off the mark. I once was a princess, though I am no longer. After my father, the king's death, I was to inherit the throne, but our barons in Parliamented voted no confidence. Worse, I was then handed trumped up charge of treason. I very well could have been executed. Instead, my younger brother intervened on my behalf. So you are alive, in exile, but alive. The former princess surprised herself at the depths of her own feelings, at the desperation with which she tried to convince, especially herself, that this was for the best. How can you be so positive? What? You speak so fondly of your brother when he is the one who exiled you, who left you here to rot in isolation. It's not like that, Elowen. What part of what I said is false? Tell me.
Her brows are forward. Holy crap.
It's not that simple. It is not Alexandra's fault. She found herself repeating her thoughts on the matter mechanically, things she only half believed. She had said all these things before. It seemed she no more believed them now. As a result of your dear Alexander's intervention, you were exiled, were you not? Who is to say he was not responsible for the unfavorable vote in the first place? Why would he do that? What would he have to gain? I know that it seems unfair, but I have come to terms with it. Matters of court are never black and white. I am lucky to have left the castle with my life. I've previously stated my belief that you are good and kind and good. I have now revised my opinion. You are a blind fool.
Hey, man! That's not nice!
As I am mute, you are blind. Altogether, too blind to the selfish ways of the world. Even your there is truth. What Elowen rose from her seat in one swift motion and headed for the door. Good night, Princess. I am princess no longer. Mock me not, I beg you. Just like that, she was gone, disappeared into the dark. Cassidy wrapped her arms around her torso, hugging herself for comfort in the wake of Elowen's sudden, indignant anger. Feeling comfort none, the former princess squeezed her eyes shut. Oh, Elowen, why? There is a treasure that can't be bought, no matter how long it may be sought. It is something priceless yet free. I speak, of course, of an apology. Day 4. After a restless sleep, Cassia awoke to the sun's harsh rays. She stretched, arching her back to release the tension there. Finally, her gaze went to the front door. There was a distinct lack of letter beneath it. They must have come in the night. How diligent of my brother's agents. You are a blind fool. All at once, the memories of her argument with Elwyn nearly knocked the wind out of her. I cannot believe I divulged such secrets to someone I barely know. Cassadia was puzzled both at herself and Elwyn's odd behavior. What a shock that was. I'm sure she has her reasons. Elwyn appeared so upset. I wonder if she experienced something similar. Perhaps my blind optimism reminded her too much of it. I'm sure she was only worried for me. I seem to inspire that breed of pity in others. I can understand that. I'm afraid I often come off as quite helpless. I must ask her about her own life. We know so little about each other. It's no wonder she would react that way. One can only draw conclusions based on what one already knows. Presently, there was a knock at that door. Given how long it had been since her last shipment, as well as the fact that Elwyn was far more likely to announce her presence with her words, Cassadia could draw but one conclusion. She waited nearly 10 minutes before opening the door. It was protocol. She knew not who her brother sent, and it was unclear whether they knew whom they were delivering to. The royal family of Felomir had a distinctive look to them. It would not do for too many people to know who she was, for that a former princess dwelled here. When she finally allowed herself to open the door, she found a large wooden crate, not unlike the previous ones. Sitting atop the crate's contents, was a sealed envelope. Cassadia instantly recognized the swerve cursive. To my sister, I am glad to hear that you are adjusting well to life at the cottage. Doubtless there are many things that challenge you, given your former life, but we must all make the best of things. I know that you have too much time on your hands, so I have been sure to enclose more books for you to read. You may one day be called upon to marry well for the advantage of king and country. As such, it is of the utmost importance that you keep your mind sharp and your hands unidled. The last part seemed to have been written later, as the script looked slightly different. I think of you often. I worry about you more often still. Be safe in the forest and keep yourself. Though I know it's difficult for you. Please await my next letter, royal brother. She read over the letter many times, trying her best to glean affection from it. Alexander has always been a little too awkward. Oof. I'm sure that the last bit was added with some reluctance, after one of his advisors taxied him for the contents of his letter. She smiled and ran her fingers along the part that read, "I think of you often." But when she remembered the sentence of marriage, how thoughtful. Is this why he kept me alive? Could this be the reason he kept me alive? Only to be an adventurous pawn? The thought ate away at her, and Cassiodia fought back tears. Her brother had never been so blunt about his intentions before. The letter did not raise her spirits as much as letters from Alexander usually did. The implications of it weighed on her. Of course, it must be useful to the kingdom somehow. Why else would I be alive if I can be of use, even as a disgraced princess? Cassiodia sighed. She could not finish that thought. All of a sudden, Cassiodia wanted nothing but to see Elwyn again. I will seek her out, I must. The other woman's presence would certainly be a salve for her current mood. That was her reasoning as she swiftly acted upon it. Cassiodia set the crate away inside the cottage and then set out. There, I read that from end to beginning for some reason. After a long, fruitless walk about the forest, she arrived in front of the wisteria tree. Elwyn, princess. I am no longer a princess. Just because you no longer live in a castle does not mean you are no longer a princess. Cassiodia was reminded of the word marriage once again. Elwyn was right. She was still considered a princess, insofar as a princess could be useful. A long silence passed between them. Both were conscious, no doubt, of the argument that had transpired between them, an argument they had not yet resolved. I am sorry. Elwyn's eyes widened almost impetuously, but Cassiodia, staring into the other woman's face as she was, took note. I should not have burdened you with my circumstances to begin with. But you were only worried for me. I should have been more sensitive in my explanation. No? Cassiodia was struck by the sight of Elwyn's soft smile as she laughed. The former princess' heart fluttered, and her brother's letter was promptly forgotten. It is nothing. It would seem that I, too, am quite the fool. The air thusly cleared. The two women were able to enjoy the rest of their day together. They whiled the time away in companionable satisfaction. That night, Cassiodia drifted off to sleep with a full heart. The strings of love are oft unseen. Though wrapped around you they may be, when tied fast none can come between, nor challenge humble fate's decree. Day 5.
Is this gonna be like a lesbian story? Oh heck yeah, I'm into all of it.
Ah, how beautiful it is today! Indeed. Elwyn had surprised Cassiodia early in the morning, arriving at her front door without warning. Though Elwyn didn't even knock, silly creature. I wonder if she would have left if I hadn't seen her and opened the door. The thought bothered her almost as much as the notion that Elowen might not yearn for Cassidia's company the way that Cassidia did for hers. How do you want her company, Cassidia? Anyways. After some time spent lingering, both paralyzed by indecision, they decided to go on a leisure nature walk. For the next few hours, they strolled through the forest together, stopped here and there to pick berries or mushrooms. That one is poisonous, do not touch it. Right. Cassidia drew her hand back in mortified alert. It would not do for your lovely skin to be marred by poisonous spores. Cassidia hastily hazarded a glance at the other woman's face, but Elowen looked as unflappable as ever. Poisonous? Are you sure? How do you know so much? You know so much about the flora and faunas here. How did you learn it all? I have lived here many years. In that time, I have witnessed many interesting things. I have learned much, letting the people who pass through educate me. However, it's been a solitary life. I have seen much, but experienced little. Elowen, I have long felt like someone on the outside looking in on a world I could never touch. There was a melancholy in Elowen's consciousness that Cassidia had not yet seen, nor even thought the woman capable of. The Elowen she knew was dignified, taking such charge of her own emotions that none ever showed. I have not known her long, of course. Perhaps that was merely how she comports herself around those of little acquaintance. What made you decide to reach out to me? Reach out? That is, she thought back to their first meeting, the way her own heart had leapt at the sight of Elowen. And Elowen had known all about her, had apparently been watching her for some time. Is Elowen Godberry? Just a question. Just a question. You didn't have to be sitting under the tree that day. You could have continued watching me from afar. But you found me. You spoke to me. And I'm so glad she did. But I fear she might call me silly if I say such a thing. I thought you delicately looked beautiful. What? The matter-of-fact way that Elowen said that struck Cassidia. She was flattered, of course, yet part of her was also worried. Beauty was not something lasting. It would be a shaky foundation for any relationship. If it had been a quarter complimenting her beauty, Cassidia might have taken it better. But it was Elowen, a woman of whom she was becoming increasingly fond. Thought? That's past tense, is it not? What do you think of me now? I still think you're exceedingly beautiful, but dainty and delicate you are not. You are far from being a posed princess I took you for. Cassiopeia winced, and her mouth formed a little pout as she turned her eyes to the ground. As I thought. It is to be expected. Someone so graceful as Elwyn would, of course, find me lacking. You are not what I expected, but I believe that might be for the better. Slowly, Cassiopeia tilted her face up, her eyes growing large with disbelief. For the better? You are always exceeding my expectations. I wonder if the other people I allowed to come and go would have, as well, had I let them so near. Well, It may be selfish of me, but I am truly happy you let the others go. I'm glad that I'm the only person you allowed close. I'm sorry that makes me sound so ugly. No. No uglier than I. I knew it! She is part of the Force! Suddenly Cassiopea's eyes, not Cassiopea's eyes, Elwyn, looked very haggard. She peered through the polished veneer and saw a woman who was tired and hungry. Are you alright? In a blink, Elwyn appeared to be the same as always. I am fine. Even so, Cassiopeia could not shake the feeling that something was off. Are you quite sure? You seem tired. Elwyn was silent for a long moment. Yes. Perhaps I am tired. Forgive me, I'm not used to the midday sun. It occurred to Cassiopeia then that she had never seen Elwyn in the morning before. Could she be something of a night owl? I supposed it. I hadn't supposed it. And here I invited her for a walk with me underneath the full blaze of the sun. How thoughtless I am. Elwyn? Yes? You don't have to stay with me at my carriage tonight? Wait, let me reread that. I read it the way I wanted to, not the way it said. Why don't you stay with me at my carriage tonight? Cottage. What? Well, I am worried about you, and it can't be easy being a woman and living alone. She knew this best of all. It would be much more. I would be. God damn it! I keep messing that up. I would be much more at ease if you could come with me tonight. Let us break bread together. What? And while away the night in comfort. She was not expecting Elwyn to accept. Not Elwyn, who had reacted so strongly to an invitation merely a few days earlier. And yet, alright. Really? Would it be better if I returned to my home? No. I was just worried that you would not accept. I realized that it's not very dainty to be so forward. At this, Elwyn finally smiled. Cassidia's heart felt akin to a acrobat at the sight, doing backflips and pirouettes in joy. It would be my honor to accompany you. It may do us both some good. As ever, Cassadia was far too excited to hear the last later. Looking forward to a night with her new favorite person, she had already changed course and started along the path home. Cassadia closed the front door behind them and went to the kitchen to put away the plants they'd gathered. Is there anything I can help with? Leave it to me. Just have a seat and rest. You really do look tired. Alright. While she put her affairs in order in the kitchen, Cassadia couldn't help but think back to the things Elowen had said. She said she likes me the way that I am. That's so kind. She felt a deep sense of warmth and satisfaction, that likes of which she had not felt in a long time. Cassadia returned to the living room a short while later, 2 cups of tea in hand. Oh! She found Elowen asleep, slumped on the divan. Poor thing. She must have been exhausted. There was a loose strand of hair in front of Elowen's face. Cassadia reached down and tucked it behind her ear. She looks so innocent when she sleeps. Chuckling to herself, Cassadia let Elowen rest and passed some quiet time reading by the other woman's side. Night soon fell, and the pair supped together. Elowen doesn't eat very much. No wonder she's so thin. Elowen, unaware of being observed so directly, delicately sipped a glass of water. Are you full? I am satisfied. You eat so little. I'm worried about your health. I eat enough. I do not like doing anything in excess. I see. Her tone left no room for argument. After dinner, Cassadia cleared the plates and things away and began to get the room ready for sleep. The cottage was not large. Her parlor had to double as her bedroom out of necessity. It was all well and good for a single person, but now that another had been added, Cassadia became acutely aware of the lack of space. There's only one bed. I do not mind sleeping on the divan. I already did earlier. Once again, I'm sorry that I didn't wake you up. You just look so at peace. I cannot bear to wake you. I'm embarrassed to have allowed you to see me in such a state. I only fear. No, it's nothing. I would gladly sleep on the divan or the ground. I am not choosy. Oh, that won't do at all. You're a guest. Cassadia gulped. Truth be told, she had one other, much more preferable arrangement in mind. We could share the bed. There's enough room for 2. I Notice you do not offer to sleep on the divine. Ah. Struck by her own lack of graciousness, Cassidy bit her lip, cowed into silence. I am only teasing. If you do not mind being so sick, I will be happy to share this space with you. Nothing would please me more than to be close to you. Oh, yes. I mean, yes, wonderful. I shall fetch another pillow then. She flew out of the room to retrieve a spare pillow from the closet, face burning with embarrassment. Yes! Hell yeah! Do you have enough space? You're not too cramped? I am fine. Truth be told, I do not mind the proximity. There was a faraway look in Elowen's eyes. Faraway look. I've been alone for so long until you came. How did you come to live here in the forest? Where is your family? Oh. With hesitation, perhaps she cannot say. Perhaps it's not that she does not wish to tell me, but she cannot. She may have some circumstances that prevent her from speaking on the subject. Was it imprudent of me to bring it up? I am sorry if it's difficult for you to tell me. It is a trying subject. I'm not quite sure where to begin. She took a deep breath. I have lived here all my life. Once, I was not alone, but... Ellen paused and sighed. I remember the wisteria tree. Of course, that's my favorite place in the entire forest. Have you noticed that there are no other wisteria trees around it? Wait, is she the wisteria tree? Now that you mention it. She never had thought about it, but as Cassidy searched her memories, she realized that Elowen was correct. You're right. I wonder why that is. There is an even older wisteria tree, deep in the forest, but now those are the only two left, and they are so far from each other. So it is with me. Cassidy found her choice of words puzzling, but nodded. I once had siblings. They have long since departed, so I don't really have family here anymore. Others have come and gone, as I said, but I could not relate to them. I'm waiting until she brings her hand up and pets Cassidy. I watched them from afar without entering their lives, and did not mourn them when they left mine. And so the years went by. You'll never be alone again. Elowen's eyes widened. Cassidy thought she might start crying, but she only smiled sadly. I see. Cassidy snuggled just a little bit closer to the other woman, as if to show meaning through actions where words might fail. And so they passed the night together, in pleasant company and warm conversation. When the sunshine blazes down, I soon begin to wish for rain. But when you are gone away, my dear, I soon long for the sun again. Day 6. Alright, we're gonna end it there. Hold on, I need to
Okay, hold on. I need. Okay, I need to grab my keyboard. There. All right. Yes. Okay. Yes. We're gonna. I already saved, so that's fine. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna end that there. Hope you enjoyed.